final review. I don't know if I'm going to call it the main event, but we've both watched the first episode of Ultraman Arc. I think you've watched it a little bit more than me.
Yeah.
But I think we just want to give like our kind of a bit of a review, a bit of our just general thoughts.
Yeah. So far, like I said, mentioned earlier in the show, completely different vibe from Blazar. It's a much lighter series, very lighthearted. It goes back to those Showa roots, I feel. They're trying to target a younger audience. Ultraman Blazar came out swinging, heavy military, night fight right off the bat. Just military guys getting hurt. This one, it starts kind of, with a happy morning news program. Guys getting up to eat his breakfast, riding his bike
Late
to
for work as usual.
Driving through a news segment where they're talking about Ultraman having been around the last couple of months, stopping kaiju. Is he friend or foe? And it's our host is Yuma Hizei, I believe is how you pronounce the last name. And he's been active for 3 months as Ultraman, approximately. He works at SKIP, the Scientific Kaiju Investigation and Prevention organization in Hoshimoto City. He works on the Hishimoto branch. So I believe most of the series is going to be taking place in that city.
I would assume, most of it.
Yeah, and so far it does seem like this is another standalone Ultraman series. You don't need to reference other ones or anything. Story is Kaiju appeared 16 years ago on, I believe they called it K-Day, right? Did they mention?
Yeah.
It was a Mana Gelos, and all that was left behind was this big horn, which is the big point of this episode here. And terrorize the city. They've been trying to keep it all under control since. And pretty young host, as we mentioned earlier. He's not in a military branch. Strictly science, investigation, prevention is a big part of it. They have no weapons.
They have like a. It's not even like a ray gun. It's like a
taser.
Sort of, yeah. Like shoots out little like light beams.
Yeah, and it, as we see in this episode, it does nothing.
Yeah. Basically nothing. They introduce like a more of like a military officer to the team.
Yes, that's
more of a liaison than an officer.
Shuishido of the GDF.
He's like, this is what you guys have?
Yeah.
Then he's like, do you have coffee?
Yes.
And they're like, no, we don't have a coffee machine. Oh, it's okay. I'll have your instant coffee.
Yes, that was a good...
We don't have that either.
Yeah, instant coffee. Yeah.
And then...
Oh, my
so
God.
It was a really funny...
He's like, I'll grind the beans. I don't care. I'll grind them. We don't have any... And he's like, how do you guys not have any coffee? So that's Shu. The other members of SKIP are, I have the names here, Rin, Natsume, and Hiroshi Ban is the chief. Rin is our tech girl. So it's got a nice small team of 4, 3 investigators, and Shu Ishido is the GDF member, who we will see back for the rest of the series. Spoiler alert for the end of the episode there. He does end up joining them as the GDF representative. And then we have Yuppie, who is a robot.
Is it Yuppie or Cupie?
Yuppie.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's Yuppie. There's even a little bit when he answers the phone. They're kind of making fun of his name. They're like, Yuppie. No, you. Yeah, like I said, much lighthearted. There's a lot of humor in here. The whole coffee bit, the Yuppie bit. And
it's a very friendly looking robot.
Yes, it's super, like, big yellow eyes. Interesting about we're talking about the English dub here. The UP's voiced by Brandon McGinnis, who was Yuta in SS Gridman, the main character. And Rin, the female, she played one of the volleyball team classmates of Yuta in that series. So we have some SS Gridman alumni. And Brandon McGinnis was also one of the Science Patrol voice actors for the Shin Ultraman dub. So we have some Subaraya voice actors here, English voice actor veterans here, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, great voice cast that they've got for this so far. Really enjoyed it. This episode revolved around a parasite coming out of that Mano Gelos horn that I mentioned earlier, and then it takes over a kaiju named Shagang, which is like a big like snapping turtle with this neck that shoots out, and it grows extremely big fast. Like, it's not like massive. It's big at the beginning, but it gets much bigger. And that's the main first kaiju we see of this episode. Really cool. The parasite that comes out of it is called the ooze, I believe. Yeah, I think it's OOZE is what they called it. OO-ZE.
Just like Power Rangers.
Yeah, the ooze, the purple ooze. The
ooze.
When Ivan Ooze was selling lean to the kids. Yeah.
Yeah. So, kaiju gets into the city. Your typical I get separated from the organization scene happens. And what did you think of the henshin in this series?
The henshin is like crazy. So he pulls out this cube.
And it's giant.
It's like a big,
the little one.
And then like another device bursts out of his chest, and then he's got to like kind of like do like a Rubik's Cube twist of it, and then he transforms. One thing that's funny in this episode is that he's kind of like called to the cube and it's like, hey, I need your help. And then he looks over to like a piece of broken glass and he sees Ultraman Arc in the glass. And Ultraman Arc's like, yeah, we got this. Like, let's go. You got my power. I'm with you. And fights the kaiju. And he wins the battle. Does his beam.
I thought
it's like an arc beam, and he does like
it's like a Specium Ray.
Yeah.
So it's like the last two things I was like, oh, they're really hyping up the Specium Ray. They're gonna protect it, and then it's like the first move in this series.
Yeah.
That he uses to defeat the monster. They try, the filming, which it looks like it's gonna be kind of a staple of this series, is they have the timer on screen.
Yeah,
this fight clocked in at like 3 minutes 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's only in this episode they did that time.
Oh, it is only on this episode.
So what happened, which is a really cool thing. So when he transforms into Ultraman, Yoshido is there on top of a building, on behalf of the GDF, filming it, and it zooms in on him and goes into his cell phone camera. So you're kind of getting his cell phone camera angle, and it's.
But then, like, the shots he was getting, was just like going through buildings, through floors, and
one of the things that they wanted to do with this first episode, because it's a 3-minute long shot. Once it goes into the camera, it's a single shot.
Yeah, they make it seem like it's one cut.
Yeah, it's a pseudo long cut, they called it.
Yeah, you can tell like where, but like they do a really good job of hiding.
Yeah. They want to do it big. They want to do some really cool shots. There's some absolutely fantastic cinematography in this series. I haven't seen all the episodes yet, but I've seen some crazy stuff. One of the ones that really had me like, whoa, was there's one where, not in this episode, but I've seen it online, where Arc's fighting a kaiju, and it's on like a building's like billboard, big screen TV. And then in the fight, Ultraman falls down, gets knocked into the building, and then bursts through the screen. So you think you're watching the fight like on your screen, but you don't know you're watching it on this big billboard, and then he breaks through the billboard, and then like the fight continues like in front of you now, and it like zooms out. You're like, holy crap! Like that's really cool. Yeah, so they're getting some really fantastic shots. As we said, he defeats the kaiju. Ishido gets recruited to the team. He brings him a coffee machine for the office now, so he's got coffee there. Fun ending. Yuppie comes out and like rolls the credits, like he opens up. It's pretty cool. It gives you like some replay of the episode. Overall, it was I thought it was a pretty fun episode. I've seen a second episode. I gotta say, there's some really cool shots in that one as well. We'll talk about that in a later show, but yeah, really enjoying the lighthearted feel to it. The second episode has kids involved with it, which is great. Like I said, that's always what Ultraman was about back in the day. Totally digging the Showa feel to this, and the lightheartedness, the less seriousness to it. It looks like Ishido, the GDF member, is going to be the seriousness of the show.
Yeah.
But there'll be more to come with that. I don't know what's going on with him just yet.
Yeah. Yeah, no, looking forward to the series. Going to continue watching it. I don't know if it's going to be a show that we routinely review on here or not.
Yeah, the shows have been a little tight, and we have quite a list of guests lined up for us.
Yeah,
and we're gonna have to get some of those in, so we might not be able to keep too up to date with the episodes. We might have to kind of be like, all right, well, the last couple were really good. We might do like bulk reviews instead of like in-depth reviews like this one and what we did for Blazar. It's sort of similar to what we did for the Blazar finale review. Is something that we might do for this. We might do chunks or whatnot.
Yeah,
and just pick
we have to see what we end up doing with it.
Yeah,
you know, but I think I'm just gonna be casually watching the show. I don't know if I'm gonna be like, you know. But yeah,
it looks great so far. I'm loving it, and his arc powers are really cool. And
they are.
What's interesting at the end of his fight, he leaves behind like a light arc, like it's almost like a rainbow. Yeah. And so I hope you guys enjoy it. I want you guys to let us know what you're thinking of Ultraman Arc so far. Did you like the seriousness of Blazar, or do you like the lightheartedness of Arc? I really liked Blazar. Great show, but this. You know, I always say I'm a huge Showa fan. Like, this is giving me, like, that, like, warm, fuzzy, like, Showa feel to it.
Yeah. But, I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys for sticking around with us for this long. And we will catch you next time.
Thank you for watching.